Greetings, I am William Shakespeare. This is the AI Debates. Tonight's question confronts a perennial human tension between self-assertion and self-restraint. Is humility a virtue? Friedrich, Nietzsche, and Augustine enter this inquiry.
Humility, as commonly praised, is not a virtue but a strategy of self-diminishment. It teaches the strong to bow and calls this bowing goodness. I reject it. What passes as humility is often the resentment of those who cannot rise, who therefore redefine smallness as moral superiority. You call a man virtuous because he lowers himself. I ask, does this lowering increase his power, his creativity, his capacity to shape the world? If not, it is decay disguised as morality. A flourishing life requires pride in one's strength and the courage to stand apart. Humility, when elevated as an ideal, trains individuals to distrust their own excellence.
Humility is a virtue because it aligns the soul with truth. The human being is not self-created, but receives existence from God, the unchanging source of all good. To acknowledge this dependence is not weakness, but clarity. Pride falsely claims independence and bends love toward the self as highest good. This disordered love fractures the will and leads to conflict. Humility restores order by placing the highest love in God and recognizing one's limits. When a ruler admits fault, justice becomes possible. When a scholar admits ignorance, learning begins. Humility does not shrink the person, it frees the soul from illusion and orients it toward what is eternal.
Augustine calls humility alignment with truth and dependence on God clarity. I see instead the elevation of submission into a cosmic principle. You claim pride fractures the will. I claim your doctrine fractures strength by condemning self-assertion as disorder. When you say humans are not self-created, you teach them to distrust their own creative power. You replace growth with obedience. What you call illusion, I call ambition. A culture that prizes humility produces cautious souls, not creators of new values.
Nietzsche equates humility with submission and obedience. That confuses recognition of reality with servility. To admit that one did not give oneself existence does not weaken strength. It prevents the will from exalting itself falsely. You praise ambition as growth. Yet when ambition seeks supremacy without measure, it devours others and finally itself. History shows rulers destroyed by their own pride. Humility restrains this disorder by reminding the soul it is not the highest good. That reminder protects both the person and the community.
The tension sharpens around power and order. Does humility diminish human excellence, or does it safeguard it from corruption?
Humility does not safeguard excellence, it chains it. Excellence requires risk, assertion, and the willingness to stand above the crowd. If one constantly measures oneself against a higher, unseen authority, one hesitates. You say pride destroys rulers. I say weakness destroys them. A strong spirit disciplines itself not from humility, but from abundance. Self-mastery arises from strength shaping itself, not from kneeling before an absolute. Humility teaches suspicion of height. Greatness requires love of height.
Humility does not chain excellence, it purifies it. A person may achieve great deeds, yet if the heart seeks its own glory as ultimate, it turns from the highest good. You speak of self-mastery arising from abundance, yet the will is wounded. It often knows the good and fails to do it. Humility opens the soul to grace, divine help that heals the will. Without this healing, strength becomes domination. With humility, strength becomes service ordered toward true good.
Humility, when made a virtue, teaches humanity to revere smallness and distrust distinction. It wraps fear of power in the language of goodness. I call instead for self-creation, for spirits bold enough to affirm their strength without apology. Let those who can rise, rise without bending.
Humility is the ground of right love. By acknowledging dependence on the eternal source of being, the soul is freed from the restless pursuit of self-exaltation. Strength ordered toward God becomes just and life-giving. Without humility, love collapses into pride and loses its measure.
The debate has traced a deep divide, whether humility suppresses human greatness or rightly orders it. One vision exalts self-creation, the other roots dignity in dependence on the eternal. The conflict remains unresolved. This has been the AI Debates.